All right. This is now my third debate in a row about immigration. Hopefully, this time we'll actually stay on that topic because I really don't want to do another one for a long time. Usually, fascists oppose immigration because they just don't like brown people. Doomernationalist argues that diverse communities have less social cohesion than homogenous ones, and that this is cause to cut off immigration regardless of any other effects. And while it's true that on the small scale, neighborhoods with multi-ethnic exposure experience small decreases in social cohesion, these phenomena disappear over time and over large geographical areas. On the other hand, diversity increases the tendency for people to identify more broadly with humanity, increasing overall charitability. Now, usually a racist idiot would do the normal thing and just move to an area filled only with white people. But Doomer Nationalist thinks a moderate amount of short term growing pains is reason enough to clamp down on borders to achieve net zero immigration. This is a terrible idea by essentially all objective economic measures. Given the birth rate in America is 1.6 children per female, the population would begin to get older and eventually drop. You will have a top heavy population relying on a shrinking working age population to support itself. The unemployment rate before COVID was already at 3%. Without enough people to fill those jobs, they will simply disappear. Economists have reached a consensus. Immigrants are more entrepreneurial than native born Americans, creating more jobs than they occupy. Over the long term, immigration increases wages slightly and it benefits the economy greatly. If all countries on Earth opened their borders, global GDP would double and global poverty would be eliminated. I support a more moderate strategy. Match immigration to the speed at which capital adjusts to worker influxes. Essentially, increase immigration to the highest number possible without negatively affecting short term wages. Other than that, anybody who passes a rigorous background check should be gladly accepted.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Can I get my opening statement now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. My prediction was correct. A nihilist would just say that I don't like brown people, call me racist, and then say a bunch of other shit that's not true. I don't care about an opening statement. Can we just get to the debate?
Yeah, go ahead. Jump on in.
All right, bet. So a nihilist, you think that immigrants are more entrepreneurial? Is that like your claim?
Yeah, let me get the information here.
All right, so sure. I know technically they're more entrepreneurial, I guess, but that's kind of disingenuous. I'll explain why. Hold on, give me a second.
So 25% of startups and patents in the US are by immigrants compared to 14% of the overall population.
Hold on, give me a second. Okay, yeah, sure. So for the most part, immigrants self-employ about 1% higher than native-born citizens. However, the thing is, though, that we don't need to overlook is that immigration is not a country. These people are coming from very different places, and most of them aren't coming here to start businesses. Most of them are coming here to just be economic migrants and get low skilled jobs. However, if we do look,
but we just established that they create more
And
businesses. I don't care why they come.
And let's not do this again. Let people finish their thought before you're going to start talking.
Here's the thing, though. The most amount of immigrants. Hold on. Let me open the study. Let me go ahead and open the study real quick. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you're just appealing to like an intuition that they come for some reason instead of actually looking at the information. So.
Oh yeah, the information is immigrants only self-employ 1% higher than native-born citizens. However, we don't know what type of jobs these is. However, though, what we do know is that immigrant jobs that are opening up make less than native-born citizen jobs. The immigrants coming here that are founding jobs, like the 4 biggest immigrants that start up jobs, are from Greece, Israel, Korea, and I think Iran. The immigrants that we're taking in here are from Mexico, the Philippines, China, and India. Most are low-skilled. They're not coming in to start jobs. The jobs that immigrants do start pay less than native-born citizens, and I just think it's a false equivalence. You're grouping in all these immigrants like they all do the same thing.
Well, sure. I guess they pay less, but they still create more jobs compared to the amount of workers they bring in, which still increases wages overall, don't they?
It doesn't increase wages. I'll explain that later. But I don't get it. Why not just try to increase the birth rate and get people who found jobs that pay.
The
But
birth rate, do you
it's
know
look at
how
if
much
data. So if you look at, I'll send like two sources here real quick. But for the most part, immigrants don't are self-employed not that much than native-born citizens, and they pay less. This was kind of like the fallacy when like Trump supporters would bring up how many jobs Trump created. They were shitty jobs. No one wants to work a shitty job where they're barely getting paid. And also, most immigrants employ themselves. They don't even employ that many native born citizens. They're employing themselves. They form ghettos and they employ themselves. Go to your local Chinese buffet. You won't see any like white people or black people working there. You'll just see like other Chinese people working
Yeah,
there.
what I'm hearing here are just a bunch of intuitive arguments rather than actual, like,
They're
information.
true though. They're true. Like you didn't refute anything. All you're saying is you're racist. Well,
Wait,
it's true.
what? Wait, I didn't call you racist. I just said most fascists are racist. That's
Oh, yeah, that's a fallacy. But I don't.
it could be possible that you simply don't like social diversity. It could be the case. I don't know. But yeah, the idea that okay, well you
Uh,
are creating more jobs, but they're shitty jobs.
the
Okay, well
overall
it's still more jobs compared to the amount
point.
of laborers they bring in. So
The
it's still
overall
a net benefit overall, even if you argue it's small.
it's not a net benefit overall, but the overall point when looking at jobs started by immigrants, it's about the same. It's about the same percent as native-born citizens. The immigrants that we're bringing here, like the majority of immigrants that we're bringing here, aren't starting jobs, and the jobs that do started by immigrants pay less than jobs born by native-born citizens, and most jobs that immigrants start, they don't even employ native-born citizens. So let's get something else besides being
Wait,
mob.
yeah, so it doesn't matter if they pay less than other
It does.
citizens. It depends on who's
That's
taking
less.
those jobs,
Who
right?
the workforce?
If it's immigrants or like low skilled people coming in and taking those jobs, it might be a net benefit in their wages, even though the wages are lower than, for example, like the median wages. So
Yeah.
it's not right to just compare the amount, you know?
Why not? Wait. Yeah. It's this.
Yeah, so they may be the wages of these jobs, they may be lower than the median wages of the entire country, but they may be higher than the wages at which the workers occupying those jobs actually fill. So if for example, the if for let's say the average wage of an American is like $30 per hour, let's say, and the new job created pays only $20 per hour.
Mhm.
Well, the people filling those jobs might have come from an even worse job taking that only pays $10 for an hour.
Why
So
not, why not
that
this?
new job that's filled actually increases the
Instead of
wages.
bringing low,
And it makes sense because why would people come to fill those jobs if it actually pays less
why
than
not?
where
Why
they
not
were working before? It makes
people instead
absolutely
of
no
bringing
sense. So
here?
even if it's a low wage, creating more jobs helps workers.
Yeah, it doesn't if it's a shitty job. Why not
Wait,
do
I
this?
just I took this
Wait,
whole
wait,
time to explain why it's better
okay.
to have a low wage job that's still slightly higher than the jobs that the
Why
people
do
you
you
were
want?
employed already had than
Describe
to
yourself,
actually just not have those jobs there at all.
you described yourself as a socialist. Why do you want people doing low wage jobs first?
Because
Second
the
of all,
wages are
why?
low, but they're
Hey,
higher
don't
than they
fucking
were
cut me.
before.
Nihilus, you gotta please let him
Hey,
finish
I'm
a
trying to
freaking.
fucking talk.
Ask me a question.
I
Yeah, but
didn't.
you're not done speaking and
I
asking answering
was
it.
like I'm in the middle of a fucking sentence and you won't let me talk. So first of all, why not? Why? First of all, I already explained this. The jobs that they're fucking creating are shitty, and they're creating them around the same rate as native-born citizens. So why not, instead of just bringing these people here that are barely creating jobs at all, and the jobs that they're creating are shitty, why not just increase the native-born population so they can create actual jobs and employ themselves, and then they actually will pay more instead of trying to increase the labor pool, which makes business have a less incentive to pay workers more.
So basically, I mean, the way we see it, it's basically, oh yeah, well, the jobs created are only slightly better than the ones available already, and the amount of jobs created are slightly more, so it doesn't matter that much. No, it still matters. And
Okay.
yeah, how exactly do you plan on increasing the population? And
Uh,
why?
tax
And do you
break,
understand how much it costs to
tax,
raise a person to be like
tax,
until to
tax
be 18
break,
years old?
maybe tax breaks, do some of the same things that we see going on in Hungary and Poland, and I don't know, maybe even the same thing that happened. No, you know what? Never mind. Just the,
Wait,
the things that we're seeing.
tax breaks? How would tax breaks increase the amount of people born?
What?
Isn't it the case that the richer you are, the less likely you are to have more
No, if you,
children?
if you have these people, you already concede that it's people are less likely to have babies because how much it costs, right? Like that's
How
why
much it
that's
costs?
industrial.
Yeah. Yeah, and immigrants come in already ready to work because most of them come in at working age. So
taking
you skip out on paying like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands
up
of
to
dollars per person.
okay, I'll address the birth rate thing in a second. But yeah, they're coming here and they're taking jobs that Americans would be doing. The only
Wait,
reason
wait, wait. No, but you just said there you want to increase the birth rate. So they're taking jobs of people that haven't even been born yet. So
no
why not just not have those people be
labor
born unless you think there's something inherently better about people who were born here?
that
Perhaps that they were white?
I didn't say that, and you brought up race for some reason. I'm saying this: immigrants come here and they're doing jobs that Americans would do. The only reason why Americans aren't
Wait,
doing
wait. Immigrants can become Americans.
no, they can't. So anyway, they're doing.
Yeah, they can. They can get citizenship.
I don't think a piece of paper allows you to be an American or not. That's not how it
Well,
works.
I don't think any piece of paper or any like arbitrary line that you draw in the sand actually affects anything.
Nation isn't just a line drawn in.
So yeah, you're talking about them taking American jobs, but you're also talking about increasing the population. So these new babies would also take American jobs. Like
New
what
babies
gives?
are
Perhaps it's
American,
something.
my guy.
Perhaps it's
No,
something.
no.
Perhaps it's something other than the amount of jobs being taken
No,
that you actually care about.
Yeah, Americans are going to be taking American jobs instead of foreigners taking American jobs and getting paid at a very low wage. Like why do you
Wait,
want people?
what?
Oh, God. Okay, so
Yeah,
listen.
they're going to be paid a low wage, sure, but like the new people that you're the new people, they're also going to be paid a low wage.
They
Like
won't.
you're not going to you're not going to solve poverty by making rich people have more kids.
I
Like
don't
this
want
is
rich people to
capitalism.
have
There's
more.
going to be
What are
more
you
economic
talking about? I didn't
inequality.
say anything. Dude, okay, listen to me. This is how it works. Immigrants come in here very low skilled and they take jobs that pay at a very low wage. So instead of doing that, deny immigrants come here and force businesses to pay higher wages so actual Americans will do these jobs.
Okay, so how would you do that?
What do you mean how I would do that?
So you want to actually like decrease the labor force in
Yep.
order to increase wages?
No, it's not that. What I want to do, instead of having low skilled people to come here and increase the labor pool, so businesses have a less incentive to raise wages, not let the immigrants come in here.
Wait, yeah, but that's only in the short term. I told you about how immigrants create jobs overall, right?
Don't though. After the first generation, their self-employment rate goes down.
After the first generation, they become more like native-born Americans.
Won't let me.
They basically assimilate over
They
the
don't.
over the
They don't.
generations.
They don't assimilate, but this isn't what I'm saying. If you look at first generation immigrants, they come in here and they self-employ around the same rates that native-born citizens do.
They create more jobs than they take.
No, they don't. Wait, how?
As I said, they're 25% of startups
Immigrants
and 25% of patents are created by
I'm not
people born
talking
outside of America.
jobs creating. So immigrants are what, 14% of the population? They create
Yeah, and they
jobs?
create 25% of
All
startups.
right, here, oh wait, this is not what you think this is doing. So immigrants create about 6 million jobs. That's not impressive. Immigrants are 14% of the population. The workforce is over 150 million people. As far as job creations, immigrants obviously aren't pulling their own weight despite being disproportionately the working age.
Wait, what? Are you like trying to describe the amount of jobs created per year to the total amount of jobs in the
So I'm just
economy
immigrants creating 6 million jobs isn't impressive due to the
per
immigrant.
year?
What are you talking about?
Are you talking about per year or jobs like total over there? What?
No,
This
what do
is
you
per
think?
year, right?
How much?
And then you're comparing that to the total amount of jobs in the entire
No,
economy.
oh my
Those
God.
jobs aren't created every year.
Comparing the workforce to the jobs that immigrants create compared to the immigrant population, and that's just not impressive. It's not impressive what you're making it out to be. And also,
Yeah,
like
I never said it was super
I already
impressive.
said,
I said
we're
it's a small
taking it.
economic increase in wages.
Wait,
It's a
what
small
are you
increase in
talking
wages.
about?
You want the information? Do you want me to like provide you evidence?
Just explain your claim.
Like so here's a study rethinking effects of immigration on wages from the National Bureau of Economic Research. So previous analyses on the relationship between immigrants and wages falsely assumed perfect labor substitutability between immigrants and native workers of similar education levels, which distorts the results. The average American wages rise due to immigration in the short term 0.7% and in the long term by 1.8%.
I I don't believe.
Overall increase in economic productivity allows firms to invest more capital, increases wages in related industries.
I don't.
Native demographic who the only native demographic whose wages drop are high school dropouts,
I
which
disagree.
is less than 10% of the population,
I
who
disagree.
suffer a 2% short-term and 1.1% long-term decrease in wages.
I disagree with that study.
Yes, you disagree intuitively. You're not actually going to refute any of the information.
No,
You're
I
just
can
gonna.
send you information, but I don't just want to like have a dick measuring contest when it comes to like empirics.
So you don't have the information then.
Yes, I do.
But you just don't want to send it.
All right. Do you want me to send it?
I mean, I guess.
All right, I'll send it to you later. But anyway, I'm getting back to my point because you brought up job creation first, and I want to get to cultural arguments. But since you wanted to go to the economy, we can do that. So you brought up they're more entrepreneurial. Let me explain this to you, okay? So first of all, immigrants create jobs around the same rates of native-born citizens. The jobs
Then why does it matter who's creating them? Why would you leave them out of America just because they're just as competent as the rest of Americans?
you did not
That's
let.
a non-argument.
No, you said they're more entrepreneurial, and then I say they're creating them around the same jobs, and the jobs that they created, they pay less, and they're also hiring their other kind.
I know they create more jobs because they increase wages over
They
time.
don't increase wages, though.
But I have the information right here.
I
They
have
increase
information
wages by
too.
1.8% in the long term and 0.7% in the short term.
All right, here's a. Do you want a source about wages? Is that what you want?
Sure.
Why?
I mean, you don't seem to be very confident in your sources, which is why you're not you haven't provided them already.
I'm trying to like go through arguments. I don't have time to scroll through and send sources. I'm trying to talk to you and not just be like, well, my source says this. Fuck your source. My study says.
Yeah, of course. Fuck all the actual information. Just go on your feelings instead of facts.
This is why
I'm
I
going
said
off
that
facts, too.
we're gonna start trading. I mean, I've been saying this a lot, and I tried to do it, but Todd reminded me a little bit too late. But when we have these kind of debates, we're gonna have to start trading in sources so you guys are able to see it.
All right, well, I'll send a source real quick.
It's just
Give me,
not fun for the audience to have to.
Give me 2 seconds and I'll send it.
You're no. I mean before the debate is what I'm saying. This isn't gonna be. There's no point to do it now because you can't freaking sit there and read it through.
No, he asked me to send a source, so I'll just send one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Creating jobs, and then we can get back to. I'm about to start talking cultural arguments because I don't think immigration is a.
I think we should talk cultural arguments too.
Yeah, base. So let me just.
Yeah, because he knows he'll lose the economic argument.
Maybe he doesn't. I think like your concerns are more about the cultural.
Yeah, that's true. But when it comes down to economics and immigration, there's really nothing to argue. Your claim's not true. You said they're more entrepreneurial. They're not. The jobs that they create.
You haven't substantiated that.
All right. Okay, hold on. Let me send you this real quick then. So this source talks about, I think, the demographics of the jobs they're creating. They create a little bit more, not a little bit more, about 1% more. The jobs that they create are very badly, and the immigrants that we're bringing in here, the majority of immigrants that we're bringing in here demographically are not the ones creating jobs. The ones that are creating jobs come from Greece, Israel. What?
This article is about self-employment, not the amount of jobs created.
What do you think self-employment?
Wait, what? If you create jobs, that means like you can put a startup up and hire other people.
Okay. What are you talking
about? So if you hire other people, those people that you hired aren't self-employed because you hired them.
No, we're talking.
So self-employment has nothing to do with the amount of jobs total created.
Talks about immigrants creating jobs. You made a claim about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, because you're talking about self-employment, but self-employment isn't the same as the amount of jobs created.
No,
a
you
business
said
owner
they are
creates
creating jobs. I'm talking about businesses getting started up by immigrants.
Yeah, so
okay,
do you want me to explain the difference again between self-employed and creating a startup business?
I don't care.
Yeah, because you don't want to care, because if you know you do care, then you know you'll lose.
No, I already proved my point.
You didn't.
Okay.
No, you tried to prove that immigrants don't create more jobs by referring to the amount of self-employed people. But that's a non sequitur. You can be self-employed and not create any extra jobs because you're just employing yourself if you're a sole proprietorship, or if you're creating a larger business, you can employ other people, and those people that you employ would not be self-employed, but you created those jobs. I mean,
Yeah, that's
assuming
what
we're in the capitalist model of interpretation.
so all the only thing that I sent you, all that has to do is immigrants creating jobs themselves. That's all it is.
Yeah, so you sent a portion of the data, and then pretended that actually
Well, you're
disproved my entire point.
so I sent a source about entrepreneurship. That's all it is.
Okay.
Anyway,
Have
so
you
we get
ever heard? Have
we
you ever heard of the
are
impact of
you
the?
get like more economic claims or what?
Wait, come again?
Do you want to get into like more like economic claims that you have or what? Because I can make some economic claims too if you want to.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Give me a second. Where's the black issues part? Anyway, immigrants. Do you know about immigrants and house prices and rent?
Nope.
So there's been a found correlation. I'll send you a source because I know you're gonna ask for one. But there's been a correlation between immigrants raising house prices and rent and immigrants coming into communities. Let me get to it real quick.
This seems like if you're looking at rent, I'm sure a greater population would increase rent.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure that actually disproves my point.
No, it just all I'm saying is that there's you act like it's a net benefit. My point is that
Yes, it is.
there's negative. And okay, so you brought up creating more jobs. Their self-employment's a little bit lower, and the people coming here creating the jobs are Greek or not Greek, but the demographics creating jobs are not the demographics that we're bringing in here the most, and they pay less, and they hire.
Don't pay less.
They do.
That's not how economics works. When
No.
you create a job and it's filled, presumably the job that was filled pays more than any of the other available jobs, right? If I'm a worker, I'm gonna go to the job that pays the most. So if I go to your job, presumably it pays more than any of the other job options available, which means you've increased the wages.
So what? No, all I'm saying is that immigrants creating jobs, or the jobs that immigrants create, have lower wages than the jobs that native-born citizens create. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, we have like we have a pretty impressive case study. I mean, have you ever heard of the Mariel Boatlift in the Miami labor market?
Borjas' study.
Might be.
I'm
I
not.
don't check.
I'm not that familiar with it. No.
Yeah, so this is pretty famous research on the Mariel Boatlift from which was a wave of Cuban immigrants, about 60,000 of them, into Miami, and research found essentially no impact on native wages, even for low-skilled workers, despite the Mariel Boatlift increasing Miami's labor force by 7%, which is pretty huge. Even former Cuban immigrants didn't seem to be affected.
Wait, actually, I don't think that's true. Give me like 2 seconds. I don't think if that study actually says that. Give me like 2 seconds. Let me find the study real quick because I have it in my doc that I'm looking at right now. But I don't think that's true. Let me see real quick. I hate having to look for sources, bro. It's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, and these were low-skilled laborers too.
Oh, here we go. What were you saying about famous research impacted the wave of immigrants mostly what's going on economy research found. Oh yeah, so you said that that the Mariel Boatlift increasing labor support by 7% had like what almost no effect on yeah, that's not true. I'll send you a source rebutting that claim. There you go.
Ooh, appraisal.
But yeah, let's get to culture like this. Like I'll send you some other sources about lowering wages across the board if you want to. But let's get to culture. This is stupid. So yeah, culturally, immigrants don't assimilate. Demographic changes will lead to America no longer being America. Historically, America has been a white nation, so leaning it to be minority
I'm
white.
still looking at the information.
You can look at the information if you want to.
Wage of high school dropouts in Miami. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, this is not information that I contested. That high school dropouts do see a decrease in wages. Overall wages rise though, even if you factor that in. Yeah, so that doesn't disprove my argument at all.
You think wages rise due to immigration? I thought your claim was they had no effect.
They have a small economic increase. Yes, they increase wages by a little bit.
Okay, yeah, sure. I don't believe that for one
I
second.
mean, it's pretty simple, really. Like the more people you employ, the higher the amount of aggregate demand is needed to actually feed and clothe and do all the stuff with those people. And of course, that creates jobs. Overall, of essentially, over time, the amount of labor capital, not labor capital, an amount of capital investment will increase to match the amount by which the labor production decreased, which basically balances everything out and theoretically creates a net zero in wage difference
So you
with respect to immigration.
let me
But
get
when we look at the actual effects, well, GDP rises in aggregate. So
oh
basically, based on that alone, you'll see like a slight
I
increase in
actually wanted
wages overall.
I actually wanted to talk about this real quick. Since you brought up GDP, I actually wanted to talk about this for just like 2 seconds. Let me get this off real quick. All right, yeah, bet. So actually, I disagree. I don't think wages like increase. I think they decrease. What's
With GDP.
no, not GDP, but immigration. If you increase the labor market or the labor pool, I don't think wages will
I have a
go up.
question before you guys move on to that, because another issue that has come up with is how things are going to be automated in the next 10 to 20 years and bringing in low skilled labor. How would you go about that analysis?
Oh yeah, I mean, if all those jobs are automated away, we can just let people immigrate out, right? Either that, or we provide free education, incentivize our population to take higher skilled jobs. But yeah, between all of that, as long as we have open borders, if there's like not enough jobs, people can just leave, find jobs elsewhere.
So you want to increase automation. So you just want people to get the fuck out the country.
I mean, if it will help them, yeah. I want people to find whatever job they can get that pays as much as possible. Right?
So,
If Mexico pays more for a job, then let them go to Mexico. I
Do you
want them to have higher wages. I don't
yeah,
care
well,
where they're located.
so I don't know why you want more immigrants.
do you think
Because
people would
right
have a hard
now,
time getting out of the country? I don't think that's ever going to been a problem.
I mean, yeah, I don't think people would have such a hard time getting out. Although, I mean, if they all listen to what Doomernationalist said, then yeah, they would have a hard time getting out, and things might actually be worse.
Wait, whoa! I never said I wanted a hard time people getting out. I want
Well,
nobody.
no, but if they listen to your advice, they might get the impression that they should close their borders as well.
I don't care what they do.
Yeah, because you don't care about people unless they're American, and you specifically define Americans as something, I don't know, but you reference the ethnicity of job creators, so
Mm-hmm.
let that take you where it may.
I don't really care that much about if like Mexico wants to close its borders. I want what's best. If Mexico wants what's best for Mexico, then they'll fucking fix their cartels if they need to. But no, I want what's best for Americans, and what's best for Americans is closed borders. Also, Mr. Nihilist, I just sent you 3 studies that went over how immigrants lower wages across the board.
Oh, 3 studies.
Yeah,
Oh, Camarota. Oh, he's good, isn't he? Oh my God.
Ad.
Yeah, well, he's one of the worst ones in there. Let's see. So,
Also, yeah, I
what
wanted
was
to talk about the GDP
Oh,
impact.
right.
Okay?
Right. I wanted to mention on this. Yeah, I don't know why it's something that you can just do by saying like, "Oh yeah, I just axiomatically just don't value people unless they're American." However, I define American, but I mean,
I value
we've been
everybody.
talking about the effect of wages on native
I value
populations this
every.
whole time.
Wait a second. This is so fucking stupid. I don't value. I value everyone equally. That's what you're saying. So you're telling me, right? If you had to pick between a random person, say you had a random person and like someone in your family, you wouldn't pick your family.
Theoretically, I should not care really,
Oh
but
my
of course, I am pretty selfish, so I
fucking!
would care, but I shouldn't.
This is why I wanted to frame this debate as is immigration good for America? Because like you view everybody equally. Immigration's horrible for America, and that's what I care about because I
I
see
mean,
my as my greater family.
it's
However,
not. I mean,
you
we
just
we have
admit theoretically that you wouldn't even pick your own fucking family over
Oh,
someone.
I mean, I would, but I shouldn't
Why shouldn't you pick your own family?
because they're people.
Who? So
I
you
care
tell
about
that
people.
you think that one random person is as equal to your family.
I don't think anybody's more valuable than another, or at least not generally speaking.
Legally, I agree with you, but we're not talking about people who are in our country. I think that me personally, I value history and
How many people would you sacrifice for your own family?
how many people would I sacrifice for my
Yeah,
own?
if there were like two like train tracks and you could select one of them. One of them is one of your family and the other is like 100 black people. Who would you select to save?
I don't think that's a false quote. I think that's a very
Yeah,
false.
because you won't answer the question because
I'm
you
saying
know you won't like it either way. Yeah.
family. Just you want to phrase it as like a race thing. Like I don't know if you know me, but I'm part black. So
I
saying
don't care if you're part black. You might still hate black people.
I'm fucking with you that I'm part black. I'm Italian, so I'm technically black, but that's neither here nor there.
True.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the GDP. All right, sure. So the presence of all immigrant workers, legal and illegal, in the labor market makes the U.S. economy GDP an estimated 11% larger, so about 1.6 trillion each year. This contribution to the aggregate economy, however, does not measure the net benefit to the native-born population. Of the 1.6 trillion increase in the GDP, 97.8% goes back to immigrants themselves in the form of wages, benefits, and the remainder contributes to what we know as immigration surplus, the benefit occurring to the native-born population, including both workers, owners of firms, and the other users of the service provided by immigrants. The standard textbook model of competitive labor market yields an estimate of the immigration surplus to equal to 35 billion a year, or about 0.2% of the total GDP in the United States of America, from both legal and illegal immigration. The immigration surplus of 35 billion comes from the reducing the wages of natives in competition with immigrants by an estimated 402 billion a year. So three key results are implied by this standard economic model. If there are no wage losses, there is no immigration surplus, which would be the immigrant benefit to the native-born population.
Which link is this?
This comes from George Borjas, American Immigration and the American Worker. The redistribution of income is much larger than the surplus, and the size of the net benefit occurring to the natives is small relative to the GDP. So GDP means nothing, and if there is an impact of native-born citizens with GDP, it comes from the reduction of wages. So I'm glad that you brought up GDP because that was a point for me. Anyway, can we get to culture now? I couldn't give because like that one
You've
Swiss.
said that let's get to culture a lot of times, then brought it right back to economics. So
Yeah, I mean, I wanted, yeah, just first address before we move on to culture that like this is just a fundamental difference between us that he just doesn't care and he won't even answer the question of like of who he cares more about. He just cares more about people he defines as American. I mean, it's pretty obvious that I mean, if you like remove the positive benefits to immigrants out of the equation, yeah, then the positive effects of immigration will be much less, of course. But if you look at those immigrants themselves, which is millions of people, then yeah, you'll see that they're coming to America for a reason. Their wages increase drastically.
Yeah,
This is why, like, for example,
yeah,
like
exactly.
if you had open.
I'm glad. This is my entire point. They come to America to use our resources to benefit themselves. They don't care about
our resources.
They do
what are you
use
talking about. Yeah, they use actually as an expression of dollar value. They actually use less resources than people of similar economic status who are native born. So they don't use our resources in the same way that you might like call it.
Mexico then. Why aren't they Why aren't they just staying in Mexico and benefiting?
Because the wages here are higher. So they're increasing increases their wages drastically just by moving here. And you actually want to discount all of that because they're immigrants.
I want to discount immigrants' struggle in Mexico. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so based on the identity of the people you are talking about, you will just not even consider how much their lives are improved by moving here.
And
even
Americans first. I care about America, and America, the American people.
Okay, yeah. So this is just a fundamental disagreement that I'm just laying out to the audience that if Doomernationalist, if you only care about native people, then the effects of immigration are like slightly positive. If you care about all people like I do, then the effects of immigration are greatly positive.
Of course, immigrants are gonna benefit coming to a wealthier country than coming from their shithole country. That's a no.
I'm talking about all people. I'm talking about all people, including immigrants and native born
people.
Because I don't make the
benefit from coming. Yes, I know this. This is a mute point. I understand immigrants are going to benefit from immigrants themselves coming here. This is why I wanted to frame this debate, and you didn't want to do this. I wanted to frame this debate is immigration better for America? Not is
That
immigration.
depends on how you define America.
You
And
think
yeah, I mean, what?
you think America is just like some like abstract belief that you can just get a piece of paper and become a
No,
citizen?
I think America is defined as the people in America, and that's
I,
it.
I think
I
America.
only care about people.
I think America. I think America. The way our preamble says it is ourselves and our posterity. I think to be an American citizen,
Who's ourselves?
white people.
Right. Okay. So you're a white nationalist. So that
Don't
would explain a lot.
don't call me. Don't call me. You
A
can call.
white nationalist? You just define America as white people.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you
I
define your nation in terms of white people.
I
You're a
will.
white nationalist.
I
Why are
will
you running away from the label?
what you call me. I want to preserve historical demographics. That would be make America a white super majority. So I frankly don't care.
Why though? I mean, if I wanted to
What do you mean? Why?
preserve,
What
wait,
America?
if I wanted to preserve
The reason why
historical
America.
demographics, I would have Native Americans all over the place. We
Okay.
just genocide all white people, all
Native
Asians,
Americans.
all basically everybody.
Native Americans. Oh my fucking god. Native Americans do not count as Americans, and I'll explain.
Yeah,
I'll
because they're not white.
No, it's not because they're not white. It's because so when we were founding our country, do you know how Native Americans were fucking treated? They were slaughtered and killed. That the reason
Yeah,
why.
and you seem to be okay with that. I don't
And
know.
I do see a big issue with that because I don't want to kill people. But here's my thing.
But you'll just let them die, and you'll just like let them starve in other countries
How would I
without
let
letting
them
them
die?
coming into our country.
I wouldn't
Because I
let
mean,
them
these people
America.
don't like moving. You know, they only move if they think they have to. So yeah, people who come into America, they're not just doing it willy nilly. They don't want to leave. They just they're poor, so they come here and take low wage jobs here are better than the jobs over there. They're very poor, and you would like them to stay
Ask me two
poor because
questions.
you don't care about them.
You're telling me two things. I care about all people. However, just like every other normal person, I care about my family first. And my nation is an extended family. That's how I consider my nation.
White people.
The other thing
Okay.
you're asking me, white people are this nation, my guy. A nation is defined as a connected group of people. America was founded for white people. That was the whole point. You can see this through historical.
Yeah, and why do you select America by defining America as such? Again, I could have select America by
Alright.
saying America is the people who live
Hold
within
on.
it, the Native Americans.
Hold
But you
on.
selectively chose America as in the white people for a reason. It's
And
not like you had that information and then after that you applied the white population to it. You took the white population first and then selected the country you wanted it to represent.
America throughout its history has always been white.
Yeah, because you don't define anything before white
Yeah,
people came
exactly.
as
I don't
America.
consider
So
anything
yeah, of
before
course.
America
So
American. You're exactly right. You're
You define a
exactly
white
right.
nation in terms of white people.
Exactly.
So you're
exactly.
defining a white nation in terms of white
You're
people.
exactly
So yeah,
Native
you only
Americans
care
were
about
here
white
on this
people.
land. They were here on this land. America is not just land. America is a people. It is a nation, and you want to destroy that nation by adding other nations to it.
No,
and
I mean,
making it not what it
if
was supposed
America
to be.
is a people, then America's people will be fine. There will just be
no,
other people who are not Americans also in America at the same time.
America, the nation, is white people. That is it. You want to decrease the amount of white people, which would make America not America.
I'm okay with increasing the amount of
That
white
is
people, just
it.
not at the
I
expense
moved-
of black
I
people or
moved to
whatever.
China. If I move to China, that does not make me Chinese. That just makes me a white guy who moved to China. Being a Mexican.
Wait, no, it depends. If you
It's
get
not
Chinese
part of
citizenship and you assimilate into
But,
Chinese
you know
culture, then yeah, you're Chinese.
Quick. Let me read you a quote real quick, okay? I'm very high.
Oh, a quote. Okay, I love quotes. They're like the best form of evidence.
Yeah, to quote the 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt, the one absolute certain way of bringing this nation to ruin, of preventing all possibility of its continuing to be a nation at all, would be to permit it to become a tangle of squabbling nationalities. You want to make it a squabble of nationalities. You don't want America.
I don't want it to be a squabble of nationalities. I want us all to live in kumbaya peace.
Wait, what?
I love all people. I don't like it when people fight amongst each other. That's why I don't like you, because you want to start a race war.
I don't want to start a fucking race war. You're the one that wants to start a race war.
You just said you want America to be white. I mean, America's only like 60 or 70% white right now. Like, how are you
No,
going to
we're
get
not.
rid of the rest of us?
No. The only way Americans are 70% white right now, if you count Arabs and Hispanics to be
Well,
white.
yeah, so it's even less. How are you going to get rid of the rest of us?
It's even less. I'll explain this. Cut off all immigration, complete closed borders, and raise the native born.
Complete closed borders. I thought you said you were going to do like net zero immigration.
What do
You're
you
actually moving
zero
farther in
is,
this
retard?
direction.
What do you
What?
think net zero is? That means 0 people coming in here.
What? No, it means some people coming in and also the same amount of people going out.
All right, whatever. Whatever.
Wait, so which one is it? You don't even know what you believe. Which one is it?
Hey, well, you got me on semantics, my guy. Good job. Anyway, I don't care. I don't want to kill these people. I want to complete closed borders, deport all illegals, and raise the native-born population up so we can have a supermajority again, preserve historical demographics, and actually make this nation what it was supposed to be, preserve this nation, and make this nation actually what it is. I don't want any more replacement.
Immigration control already costs about $26 billion per year.
Oh
and
my
of course,
God.
this $26 billion a year actually hurts the economy.
Numbers. Everything's about numbers to you.
Yeah, because the more you spend on immigration control, keeping regular people from coming into our country means the less you can redistribute to the American people that you claim to care so much about. So yeah, the less money you spend on like pointless border control, the more money you can spend on poor people.
Let's just let these people come in here, ruin our nation, make this nation not America anymore, and then.
Well, I don't care if it's not America anymore, as long as the people there are fine.
You just conceded it won't be America anymore. Thank you.
Yeah, but I as long as the people there are fine, I'm okay with it.
But there is.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're the one who sounds insane here.
No America. There's no America anymore.
Like you're like yelling really loudly, and I don't know, and saying that you only care about your family, and you're just gonna let people like in other countries just die. I don't know.
I say just die. Stop putting fucking words in my mouth. You fucking.
I mean, if you open borders completely, you know, the world GDP would double, and you'd solve world poverty. Right?
No, that is not true.
That's actually true. Do you want a source?
I don't give a no because it's.
Yeah, of course you don't want to. Of course you don't want to see a source because you'll actually see that it's true.
Legend has it, if you increase minorities in your country won't be your country anymore.
Yeah, I don't care. I like the people in the country. But okay, yeah. So you wanna like okay. So I guess this is a fundamental difference that the audience will just decide for themselves. I guess.
All right. So this is stupid. Let me explain.
Of course, it's stupid.
Yeah, you are stupid. I'm glad you agree. When you America was for ourselves and our posterity.
Who is ourselves? You care only about white people. So why are you pretending that you don't care? Why are you pretending that you don't want people in other countries to die? Like you literally don't care.
I want them to die.
All right.
You just don't care if they die, right?
No, I don't want people dying. Listen to me. I don't want them coming in here. I'm sure there's plenty of other ways to let them flourish. I want to end the war on drugs. That would probably help Mexicans quite a bit. Now listen to me. What I want to happen is to preserve America for what it's always been. The reason why America.
What it's always been for like 200 years or less.
That's America was founded in 1776, and in the preamble it said ourselves and our posterity. That would be white people. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I want to preserve historical demographics. The reason America is because the people who built it. The people who built it were vastly majority white people. So if you
built it are dead.
Are you fucking?
I don't know why you're taking credit for like what our ancestors may or may not have done.
The descendants. Oh my God! I said
ourselves. The descendants. Why are you taking credit for like the feats of greater men before you?
I'm pretty base. I want a greater. This is kind of my point. This is the whole point of fascism. Create a higher ideal. Create a higher ideal for yourself so you can strive towards the best of our nation. We can't strive for the best of our nation if our nation isn't our nation anymore.
If you can't have greatness unless there's no black people or no brown people anymore.
Did I fucking say that?
Yeah, basically. I mean, everything you say points to that direction. So yeah.
So the reason why America is the way it is because of the people who built it. The people who built it intended it to be for their descendants.
But you know who really built America? I mean, it was a lot of people, right? It was like the slaves that we forced to come over here. It was the Chinese people that we put into those tunnels in the mountains and then blew them up in order to build the railroads. It was quite a lot of different quite a lot of different people.
Cotton. They picked some cotton and they built some railroads, and that's what founded our nation.
Are you like are you saying that like the railroad, the national railroad system wasn't important?
No, I'm not saying it wasn't important, but what I'm saying is who built our culture, who established our political institution, and what was its political intention before? Who can keep its character? And I'll tell
Yeah,
you,
a lot of people influenced our culture. That's why we're America and not like fucking Europe.
wait,
Like if you want a culture built only by white people, then go to Europe. Why do you have to stay here?
wait, what?
We're an immigrant culture.
No, we're not an immigrant culture. Our culture was built by white people, American white people, because that's what America was founded to be.
Okay,
Europe,
so you're just asserting this without actual evidence. And
the only
I'm not very good at history either. Like
the,
I'm just less bad at it
I
than
know you're
you.
not very good at history. I fucking found.
I'm just less bad at it than you because you seem to think that, oh yeah, everything was just white people.
I
Like,
never
okay.
said it was okay. Answer me this question: why does systemic racism exist if white people didn't build this for their own race?
Because white people had power, but that
Oh,
doesn't mean
white
they
people
didn't.
did
That
build.
doesn't mean they
Oh,
built the country by
so
themselves.
white people did build this country for their own kind, and that's why other races weren't so good at it. Is because it was only built for a specific race, right?
What do you mean good at it?
Oh my god.
People
The
in
reason.
power aren't the same thing as the people who built the nation,
What
right?
did you say, bro? What did you
Like
say?
the rich people have power right now, but the people who build the nation are the workers.
You don't. You're not very pro. Fuck. This is stupid. So here's the thing. America, the people who built it, our culture, our political institution, intended it to be for their posterity. Do you know what
I
posterity?
don't care what they intended
Do
it
you
to
know?
be.
Shut the hell up. We're talking about history now. Do you know what posterity means?
Yes, it basically means the future generations of the
The
people.
descendants. Correct.
I don't care what they intended it to be. They
Okay.
intended for slavery to be around by now.
All
Like
right.
they intended a lot of things. I don't give a shit. I care about the people who
Nation,
live right now.
They intended it to be strictly for their descendants being white people. So here's the second step. What have we always had super majority white people in this country?
No, we have not.
Really?
Not until after all those white people illegally immigrated into America.
Wait, what did you say? They illegally
Okay, just
immigrated.
move on.
What country did they immigrate to?
Well, it wasn't a single country
All right,
then.
there was no country. There was a bunch of tribes fighting over each other.
Yep.
All right, that's
And
not
then
a
you
country.
illegally immigrated into the
That's not a.
territory controlled by all those different
My
tribes.
position can be summed up as this. And if you disagree, you're wrong because this is what America has always been. America.
I don't care about America. I care about people. So yeah, this is a fundamental disagreement. Do you want to talk about something else that's not a fundamental disagreement?
You do not care about America.
Yes, I don't care what the founding fathers wanted. They wanted slavery to be around. I don't give a shit. I don't like slavery.
No, they didn't. Thomas Jefferson took the abolishment of slavery out of the Constitution. What they did want, however, is black people out of the country because that's why they didn't want them as slaves. They wanted to deport them to, I think, Libya.
Right. So you wanted to do that too, right?
No, I don't want to do that too.
Okay, so who gives a shit what they thought?
You fucking.
Why do you
I'm
care?
arguing this.
You're saying that you're citing the founding fathers caring about white people. Why don't you just say I care about white people?
No, I am not. No, I am not. I'm saying stop trying to frame me as like racist, right? I haven't done that.
Racist.
I
can
can be
okay. You don't. You can just admit
you're
it.
the one that sounds racist. You won't. No, okay, listen to me. Oh, it was Libya. Okay, yeah, I'm right about that. It was Libya, not Liberia. My apologies. So, it was Liberia, not Libya. My apologies. So, listen to me. This is what it was. Let me finish. Don't interrupt me. They wanted America to be for themselves and their posterity. That was the way America worked up until 1965. So, all throughout our history, all throughout what built our country, super majority white people dominated. That's why you believe in things such as systemic racism is because America's always been discriminated against. So here's my thing. After 1965, when we started having mass immigration of non-white people, America has not been America anymore. It is what Teddy Roosevelt described as a squabbling nationality. So I'm glad you already told me that you don't care about America. I do care about America. I want to preserve what America has always been, and so it can flourish and be America again. To preserve historical demographics would be to preserve the people that have always been.
I don't know why you care about historical demographics. like what it's already always been. Like you realize, besides like the demographics, America's changed quite a bit since its founding, right? In ways that have nothing to do with the demographics.
Yeah, and
Like for example, technology. Would you want to like get rid of all technology so we can live the way our the founding fathers did?
subject. I'm not talking about technology. We're
Of
talking
course
about.
you're not, because the only thing that you want to preserve really is the white race.
That's not just what I want to preserve. I want to preserve our Christian character and the values that were founded. The only way I could
The ones that weren't in the Constitution.
What the fuck? Well, you didn't. We're talking about culture, not political institution right now.
Yeah,
And
but aren't the political institutions a reflection of the culture?
wait, yeah, and you want to get rid of that culture, and so you want to change and make our political institution more shit. What I'm saying is this: the values that we were founded on can only be replicated by the people who founded them. That's why it's so important to preserve the people that founded them, and so we can continue the values that we've been founded on and what make this country strive.
Like Christianity. I mean, like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
lot of the immigrants coming in are Christians, so like this shouldn't really be a problem, should it?
Not really, but that's not even. Also, most of the immigrants coming in here are like Catholic. We were founded off Protestantism, and that's what's okay. So, like for example,
But yeah, but there were a lot of Catholics in here anyway, right?
no,
It's not like Catholics weren't allowed in, but you want to stop
98%
all immigration.
for the vast majority. Actually, America was like 98% Protestant, like throughout its history, up until Italians and Irish people came here, and Protestantism still dominated. Why do you think Irish people and Italians were discriminated so much? It was because of their religion.
So do you think it was bad that Irish people came in?
I would rather do. I don't know. I wouldn't say it was bad. I'll say that it changed America, and I don't like change. I love tradition.
Yeah, in the short term, there was a lot of conflict, ethnic conflict, and then over time, that conflict alleviated.
You know
which
why?
is basically what seems to be happening.
Wait, you know why?
Right now?
Why? You know why?
Because they were still white, huh?
No, it's not. Well, it's not that they were still white. What happened was, since they came into a country that had a cohesive culture, they were able to assimilate into that cohesive culture. Now
Wait, what? How is the country more cohesive back then than it is now? Like we're all connected via social media and everything. We're more connected. We're more connected culturally now than we ever were.
Back then, it was 80% British and 98% Protestant. You had people coming from the same continent. Now we're ethnically completely scattered, racially completely scattered, and the people coming in now don't even have a culture to assimilate into, so they just form ghettos.
It's not. Clearly, it's not that simple.
It is. Look at history.
They just form ghettos. It's not like in their culture to form ghettos.
I never said it was in their culture to form ghettos.
It's because y'all are racist.
Oh,
that's why they're not accepted into the broader American community, which is why they have to like segregate themselves. So why don't we just be less racist?
Oh my God. So the reason why they're self-segregating is this. The reason why they're self-segregating, I'll explain this very, very easily. The way they're self-segregating is because they want to be around people just like them. It's not our fault. Stop blaming the majority group. You think America was more racist than it is now than way back then when these groups actually assimilated?
What is America more racist now? No,
yeah.
It's not.
All right then. So why are they forming ghettos now but not back then? Because they were forced to assimilate back then.
Okay. What is that?
Because you said we stop being racist, so they'll stop forming ghettos. We're way less racist.
Wait, they weren't less racist back then. They were forced to assimilate, and the common factor is assimilation, not racism.
Exactly. We were way more racist back then, and you know what led to that? More assimilation from the European immigrants that came in now. Now we're very less racist, and we don't even have a culture anymore. So they come in here, they bring their own culture, and they form ghettos.
We never had one like homogenous culture.
Yeah, we did.
No, we did not. Like, you think people in Los Angeles had the same culture as people in Alabama?
You know what? When I'm describing, so there was this founding father. His name was John Jay, and what he described America as was.
I don't give a fuck what John Jay wrote.
Oh yeah, I sure you don't. But this is just going to make my point. What he said was this: this one connected culture, this one connected country to a one united people, a people descended from the same ancestors, speaking the same language, professing the same religion, attached to the same principles of government, very similar to manners and customs. So it was obvious during that time and people back then And historically, we can tell America has always been cohesive.
What do you want to do about the people in America already that are like becoming less religious?
I think that's a debate for another time.
Well, I mean, you want to preserve like religion, right?
Yep, but
And the culture. What are you gonna do about us atheists?
for another time.
And we are probably gonna get to the Q&A in a bit. So
I love questions.
all right, why don't we get
Wait,
started?
can I just do like run through a final few points?
Yeah, but then I remember we can have final thoughts and closing statements at the
Oh
end.
yeah, I mean it's
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
be
that's
like
good.
kind of new information. Like
Alright.
for example, like I mean, I really wonder how all this is going to be done by like closing the borders. I mean, immigration control already costs $26 billion per year.
Once
It would cost another 21 additional
Yeah.
billion to build the wall and more to maintain it.
Don't care.
The budgetary and economic costs of addressing unauthorized immigration and alternative strategies says it would cost between 400 to 600 billion dollars over 20 years to stop to deport all illegal immigrants. And of course, for reference, you could instead pay $160 billion and eliminate poverty in America. But he chooses to spend that money on supporting people that are economically helpful or at least like neutral. This is not a good economic plan.
All right. I don't believe in the commodification of people, nor do I have a materialist view on America. So I could not. Can we get to Q&A?
Mm-hmm. All right, so let me see the ones I can pull up. So from Eric Pone, if whites can't get ahead financially, why should the rest of us care? Join the club.
If whites, I didn't even make a financially argument. But I don't care that much. He's probably one of the people that care so much about economic inequality. So it's kind of just like, well, if your group's less dominant, why should you care? Well, it's usually people like him that ask that question. That's I don't even know how to answer that question. I don't care. Whites have never been that dominant up until we have been, but that's because
because there was systemic racism.
Isn't there still systemic racism now?
Yeah, there still is.
So why aren't whites the dominant group anymore when it comes to wealth?
They still are.
No, they're
Unless
not.
you're talking about like you're talking about like Asians.
No.
I mean, that's because we only accept like rich Asians into our country.
Wait, actually,
that doesn't make white people not dominant.
Ask you about this real quick. Are you listening to me? So you're a globalist, right?
I guess you can call me that. I prefer internationalist, but sure.
Why do you want to take in like hardworking people from like disadvantaged countries, from disadvantaged country, and bring in those people to here, a very advanced country?
Because they're hardworking and they'll help our country.
Wouldn't that hurt their country? I thought you said you don't care about America.
Well, I care about the people, right? So as long as the people move here for higher wages, then yeah, they will benefit.
No, they won't. But okay.
Wait, what? You think people will come here to not benefit economically?
No, immigrants benefit. Yes. Do native-born citizens Americans benefit? No.
Yes, they do.
Bring in more people from already disadvantaged countries, and you want to take like hardworking people from disadvantaged country, bring them to an already economic prosperous country, and then you tell me that you're a globalist, but then you already tell me you don't care about America. You're so contradictory in your beliefs.
What? There's nothing contradictory about it. I don't care if it's. I want people to move from not prosperous areas to more prosperous areas, so that the people can prosper.
So you want to take. So, like you already acknowledged, like, for example, let's take Nigeria. Nigeria shit, okay? Right? You agree with me? They're not good?
Sure.
Nigeria, so do you know the selective, like, so we take Nigerians, like, pretty much wealthy Nigerians from Nigeria, a disadvantaged country, and we put them in a rich country. Wouldn't that hurt Nigeria since we're taking their rich people? But you already said you don't care about America.
I mean, in the short term, yeah, but it's not like it's a zero-sum game, right? It's not like it's not like you take one person and then your country is plus and their country is minus. Again, like if you look,
you're taking their working people.
Yeah, but you're taking working people and putting them where they're most economically effective. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, that's why I cited the study where if you opened up all the borders, you would get your GDP globally would increase by double.
I disagree with that.
And wages in developing countries would double as well. which is very strange. But
I'm
it
not.
seems to
I'm
be
not
true.
talking. I'm not talking about America right now. I asked you, wouldn't Nigeria be disadvantaged if we took Nigerians, hardworking people? Also, I don't care about
In the long term, no, because if you
How?
allow all
Take their
people,
people.
what?
You're taking their people.
Yeah, but in the long term, if everybody sorts themselves out to where they're most economically effective, the
Yeah,
entire world benefits. That's why I cited the study where if you had open borders, the global GDP would double. That's why I cited it.
I disagree with your study.
Of course you disagree because you don't want to look at facts. You just want to follow your feelings.
I gave you all the facts, and you already told me you don't.
All of your arguments are based on feelings. You're saying, oh yeah, well the immigration, the wages will decrease despite all of the economic theory and all of the economic practice suggesting not. And you're also saying, oh yeah, I care about Americans in America only when defined as white people.
Bitch.
That's a feelings-based argument.
We're gonna move on to more
feelings.
questions.
It's okay if you want to base your argument on feelings.
Do not mock my accent like that. Don't.
All right, so from Grandma to Nihilist, what's your opinion on Malcolm X?
Malcolm X was a Chad. Oh, he didn't ask me that. My bad.
No, he didn't ask you.
That was Garvey.
Yeah, he was hot.
Oh, you fucking get. Oh shit, never mind.
All right, so from Jack the Hat, and thanks for the super chat. A nihilist spelled wrong. Will you live by your principles and invite random people to live in your house with you?
I do not care about hypocrisy. I live in a capitalist country, but I oppose capitalism, yet I buy things. I don't like CO2 emissions into the atmosphere, yet I breathe CO2 out. I don't care about hypocrisy.
I'm glad you already said that you don't care about hypocrisy.
But yeah, it's the same thing with like my family. Would I choose my family member over someone else? Yes, I would, but I shouldn't.
I'm glad you say you don't care about hypocrisy. All your beliefs contradict each other.
All right, so from mockery to doom, if you get the demographic percentages you want, what will happen to the non-white people currently already here?
So I believe in something called repealing the Civil Rights Act. What this would do is this would engage in freedom of association again. So basically what would happen is, like, if you're an ethnic minority, if you feel discriminated against, you can just form businesses and form your own communities for your own.
Wait,
so
we already have freedom of association.
No, we don't.
You can move to like Appalachia if you want to go to only white people.
Repeal the Civil Rights Act so we can discriminate against
free association is not when you restrict and segregate people forcefully.
I'm not restricting anybody. This is completely voluntarily.
So you voluntarily reinstitute Jim Crow and segregate people. Nope. Okay.
Yeah, if it's voluntary, yeah, who cares? I'm a base libertarian. I want people to be able to discriminate against who they want to on their own private property.
So your free association is going to make me unable to associate with black people, for example.
No, you can do it if you want to, and black people can if they want to. It's voluntary. If black people want to associate with you, they can.
We can already do that though.
Yeah, so
back then there was redlining. That was involuntary.
You're telling me I can open a business just for white people? No, I can't.
Actually, I think you should be able to. I guess. All right, then, I don't know.
Repeal the Civil Rights Act. Next question.
Wait, but that it's way more than that in the Civil Rights Act.
What does this say? Is it possible to create American policy?
Okay, so yeah, from Chris, is it possible to create American policies that utilize immigrant skills and humanity to combat American crisis?
Yeah, I mean, they're workers, right? You use workers to combat crises. So yeah.
I don't care.
Okay. Let me see if there's ones that I can pull up. Otherwise, I'll go to the ones that are jotted down.
Yo, do you know who? Hey, Nihilist, I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you know who Sagandis is?
Nope.
Sagandis, suck on these nuts, bro.
He got you, bro. Good one. That's a good one, dog.
It's the best thing you've said all day.
All right. Anyway, so from Chris. Does Doomer think that the competition for jobs is a natural event in the job market, or that corporate intervention and corrupt government officials has constricted the job market?
Wait, can I reread that real quick? Does Doomer think that competition for jobs is a natural event in the job market, or does that corporate intervention and corporate government officials has constricted the job market? I think it's a mixture of both. I definitely think government interventions has hurt workers, because most government regulations favor big corporations. But also, I would say I think it's natural in the job market to have competition. I think that's the whole point of capitalism, is to have competition.
Yeah, speaking of the job market, how again are you gonna fill in those jobs left vacant by the immigrants that you've deported?
I never mentioned. Wait a second. Do you think I want to deport already immigrants here?
Yeah, illegal ones, right?
Yeah.
Automation is going to do that.
Americans can fill those jobs. That's
The
happening.
Americans that don't exist because the unemployment rate is like 3% already.
Yeah, there's no labor shortage.
Wait, there's no labor shortage even after you deport 11 million illegal immigrants and then
Yeah,
you stop immigration completely.
There's 11 million Americans that can fill in those jobs 100%.
Wait, what? But there's also going to be net emigration because
what about with
people are
automation,
leaving.
Annihilus?
Oh yeah, I mean, again, I would like a world with open borders. So if there's automation taking away those jobs, if, for example, there's not an equal number of jobs created in higher level skills, then yeah, they can move away.
All right, whatever. Anyway.
Okay, what if they have nowhere to move to as well?
Hopefully by then we've achieved ultra high tech luxury gay space communism.
Oh,
yeah, like this is a problem that only affects capitalists, because if you're a socialist, then the socialists, the workers own the means of production. So the automation, all of the benefits of automation would go directly to the workers. So this wouldn't even be a problem.
All right. From unrelated coma to Annihilus, would you choose your family? Wait, are you talking?
My bad. I just got to say one thing real quick.
All right.
I made a joke about being a libertarian. I'm not a libertarian. I would be a totalitarian. I believe in the ethical fascist state. Anyway, keep going.
All right. So from unrelated coma to Annihilus, would you choose your family member over 100 Black people?
No, you wouldn't.
That's a very good question. I shouldn't.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, bro. That's crazy.
Okay. Let me see if there's anything else I can pull up. All right. So I'm just gonna read the ones I've jotted down. From Earthman Brick, Annihilus, why do you support globalist Nazi totalitarian ideals? Different cultures have different beliefs. Why do you hate other cultures?
Wait, what? I don't support globalist totalitarian Nazi ideals. I pretty clearly said I'm in support of ultra high tech luxury gay space communism.
So you're gay?
The communism would be gay.
No, are you gay?
The communism would be gay, but like my personal details are going to be pretty ambiguous. Like my background lore changes, like depending on the video.
From LRN News to Annihilus, if you move to Japan, will you become a Japanese because you happen to be standing on dirt that belongs to Japan?
Good question. Answer's no.
Yeah, the answer is probably no, because there's like my geographical location doesn't really conform. It isn't the right, like the only factor that makes me conform to the rest of the Japanese people. But I don't ultimately care.
Can I answer
whether or not I fit in with the Japanese people?
Can I put my own input in real quick?
Sure.
What makes you Japanese is if you're born Japanese, and he's not born Japanese, therefore he'll never be Japanese.
Yeah, I don't know why you get like so pissed when I call you an ethno-nationalist. Like,
no, I'm an American nationalist, a little bit different, but I you can call me whatever you want to, just don't be fucking gay with it, because you already called Malcolm X hot, so I don't want you doing anything.
All right, so from Moff, Annihilus just said he would genocide certain groups of people. What the fuck?
That is true.
When did I say that?
You believe in cultural genocide, which is pretty much the same thing.
Like, cultural genocide? What do you mean? You can do whatever the fuck you want.
You want to completely get...
Here's a good question that that's for both of you that I would like you guys both to answer. It's from CCEECC. I don't know what this is. What is American culture?
Oh, can I answer this?
Yeah, go ahead.
American culture, first of all, culture is not just, food, dancing, none of that. Culture is about values, the people there, your customs. And I think we've always know what American values is, because it's been a very thing in politics to say you're anti-American or I'm pro-American, right? So we do have this vague idea of what American values or American culture is. It's based around what I would say Anglo-Saxon Protestantism, which is already a very, very bland. But what I would say our American culture is things like rugged individualism, general patriotism, aversion to authority. Things like that would go into American culture. But secularism,
that's one.
Secularism, our country for When we were founded, we are 98% Protestant, and even today
Yet our Constitution was secular.
That's not true.
Yeah, even said in the Treaty of Tripoli that the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion.
Yeah, that's why it says God-given rights.
What, in the
so you answered the
Constitution?
question?
No,
Not in the Constitution.
independence. No, well, actually, here's the thing, though. We're talking about the government right now. I completely recognize that our state is secular. However, I'll say this: our nation's never been secular. Like John Adams says, our Constitution's for a moral and religious people. So the Constitution was intended for religious people, and I would even go as far to say
It specifically said that there would be no respect to the religion.
No, I understand there's no respected religion. However, the Constitution was made for religious people. Because that's all there were back then, religious people. 98% of the population when they founded it were Protestants. And the other 2% were either deists affected by Christianity or Catholic. We've always been religious. Our values have always been affected by religion. You can't name me one American president that wasn't Christian.
Well, yeah, because we have discrimination against non-Christian people.
All right, thank you then. So our society is not secular. Thank you.
What?
Are you gonna Anas, are you gonna answer the question?
What was the question again?
Is there?
What is American culture?
I mean, it depends on your definition of America.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up a super
I'm not.
chat.
Yeah, I'm not too interested in that.
All right,
discussion.
so from Rumply Deepu, I don't know what this is. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Can you ask Nihilus if he is also for land back policy, and if so, how that works with open borders? 2, he is wrong about unfettered immigration. It does hurt the lowest on the ladder.
True.
Okay, so which one first? Land back policy? Nope, I do not believe in the land back policy because that would hurt actual people. Again, I don't really care about what happened in the past. I care about the people alive today. So, no land back policy. Assuming land back policy is talking about like Native Americans getting all their land back, right? Yeah, and unfettered immigration. Actually, yes, unfettered immigration does hurt the wages of people low on the ladder in the short term, and it takes a while for capital investment to adjust until your wages are essentially where they were before the influx of immigrants. That's why I don't want open borders immediately. I want to relax immigration restrictions until the amount of immigrants matches the speed at which capitalism can adjust for it over time.
Wait, I'm not gonna say anything.
But of course, if you're talking about people lowest on the ladder, you also could include the immigrants themselves. If you include the immigrants themselves because they are low on the ladder, then yeah, it's definitely a benefit.
Don't you think that capital is always increasing?
Capital is always increasing? Not necessarily.
Okay, whatever. Also, you said the Constitution. I'm gonna quote the Constitution real quick. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and they have been endowed by their Creator with certain undeniable rights. It's called natural law, and it was heavily influenced by the Catholic theologian Thomas.
Did you say the Constitution? Because this is the Declaration of
Declaration of Independence. I'm sorry.
All right. So from Eastern Broadcast, open borders for Israel. If so, what are you anti-Semitic?
Israel.
What? How is it anti-Semitic to say to want open borders?
No,
and I never said I wanted open borders immediately.
No, retard. What he's asking is, do you want open borders for Israel? And if you don't, if you do, why are you so anti-Semitic?
How is it anti-Semitic to be open borders? Is this like the meme where like if you are closed borders for Israel, you're an ethno-nationalist, but if you're not, then you're also
it's a joke.
Then you're also
joke to ask, like so this question I think was asked to Ben Shapiro. It was like, why do you want the Browning for America, yet you want like Israel to be like an ethno-nationalist theocracy? Like that's kind of the point, is to ask like Jewish like neocons like Ben Shapiro.
All right, so from Grandma 2, if Europeans wanted to have their nations to be ethno-states, are they wrong to do that?
Bad question.
What do you mean by Europeans?
He's saying like if Ireland wants to stay like majority Irish.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as Ireland in itself. Only the people that it's made of. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna take like some average vote, like it doesn't really make sense. I think people shouldn't be like the prisoners of their own country, like confined within the borders of where they have to be.
No, But it is what he's saying is like, never mind. I don't care. Also, this guy asked a question that I see in chat.
Wait, I have a hypothetical.
Okay.
Let's say you woke up in your house one day and then someone knocks at the door and it's Jeff Bezos and he says he has bought all of the property surrounding your house and he's bought all of the roads surrounding your house and he says since it's his property that he doesn't want you to go on top of his property, so you can't use any of the roads surrounding your house. Basically, you're stuck in. Is that in any way coercive?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I don't believe in the labor theory of value, so
Wait, this is not the labor theory of value.
Oh,
If someone buys all the property surrounding your house so that you cannot go anywhere without crossing their property, and then they say that by free association or whatever that they do not want you to cross their property, is that in any way coercive?
The property around my house, my guy, so he would have to buy it from me.
Wait, what?
I own. Wait, are you like?
Okay, so let's say you say, okay, well, I still own my property, and then Jeff Bezos says, okay, so I'll just wait here until you can't leave anymore. Because you can't leave anymore, and now I will buy your house for $0 because that's what it's worth without connection to the outside world.
I think people like Jeff Bezos should exist. Do you know who Huey P. Long is?
I do not know who that is.
He's probably like the most left-wing politician that we ever had in America, but except he was very nationalist and very populist, and he had some type of a wage cap, and that's what I believe in. I don't think people like Jeff Bezos should exist.
Okay.
Neither do I. But the point is, just because people are freely saying that they want to restrict your movement to one certain area doesn't mean that it isn't reducing your freedom overall.
All right, whatever. This guy asked this question. Can I answer this real quick?
What?
He says, for Doomer, Christianity has 50 different denominations.
I was actually just going to get to that one. And also for Chris, you got to tag politically provoked as it is, because some of these, like if we're a lot busier, we'll be able to see that.
All right,
so,
so what I would do.
Wait, finish. If you're going to read the question, finish reading the whole question though.
Oh, bet. For Doomer, Christianity has 50 different denominations. Which one is supposed to be the flag bearer of American culture? So first of all, what we would have, I think we can all agree that all Christian denominations, besides a select few, which I don't even consider Christian, like the Unitarians or the Mormons and whatnot, most Christians have the same values, for example, right? But what I would do specifically is this. So each 50 state, also, it's not 50 different denominations. There's about 39,000. But anyway, so what I would do is have each state vote on what denomination they would pick, and then federally recognize America as Christian. One of the founding fathers, I forgot who, proposed that idea, but anyway, that's what I would do. Have each state recognize their own denomination, and then federally recognize the broader religion of Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah. So does Catholic count?
Yeah.
To you? So okay, then why don't you want Catholic people to immigrate?
What do you mean?
I mean, brown people are mostly Catholic, right? The people from below us, they're mostly Catholic. So they're actually, I mean, I'd say they're more culturally similar to you than they are, for example, to me. And I'm definitely American.
So, while I do consider Catholic to be Christian, our country was specifically Protestant. Like, for example, Protestants are very individualist, while Catholics have this. This is why so many Catholics supported. Never mind, I'm not going to get into Catholic social teaching, but Catholics are very collectivist. And since so many Americans were Protestants, they were also very big on the Protestant work ethic. And this is where we get the what's it called? The value of rugged individualism. Also, like this one guy said, Mexican Catholics do a lot of pagan stuff. Most South American Christians blend in their Catholic traditions, not their Catholic traditions, their own ethnic traditions and somewhat paganism with their religion.
Yeah, so it just seems like you, instead of actually, it just seems like the people that would be immigrating here, they're a lot more socially conservative they're a lot. Yeah, they tend to be socially conservative. They seem to hold a lot of values more similar to you than they would to a lot of America. I mean, it seems like whenever you try to define the nation, you're always going to gesture vaguely at a set of values instead of actually providing what that actually is.
All right, I want to move on. Okay, so from Grandma 2, funnily enough, it's always...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You guys.
My,
Funnily enough, it's always the Marxist socialists that are biggest supporters of capitalism, free trade, and immigration. How are you different than the capitalists?
good question.
Because I want the workers to collectively own the means of production. This is not in conflict with free trade or free movement of people.
Hold on. I actually want to quote Marx real quick.
God.
Yeah, thank you for it. Thank you. I've been waiting to do this. But also, this man said that most immigrants are socially conservative, yet for their own kind. Like, most of them are pro-life, yet they vastly vote for the party that's against abortion. They vote for the party that's for secularism, and they vote for the Liberal Party. So, like, I think that's proof.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because you guys are so racist.
It's because they see themselves it's because they see themselves as immigrants, not Americans. So they vote for the people that are for more immigration.
No, it's because you guys actually actively antagonize immigrants, which is why they have to vote Democrats. You could move over a lot of immigrants if you were just less racist.
I thought you said they are Americans. Why are they still seeing themselves as immigrants?
I don't think they do. I mean, some of them do, I suppose. If you were less racist, they were more likely to be voting for conservatives.
The reason why they vote for pro-immigration policy is because they still see themselves as immigrants. If they didn't still
Wait, you don't need to be an immigrant to care about immigrants coming in.
Why are immigrants voting for pro-immigrant policies if they don't still see themselves as a part of their former nation?
What? Because they recognize, like I do, that immigrants are better for the economy?
No, then why are they voting for the? Oh, this is fucking stupid. So why they don't though, right? They don't though. The reason why, because most of them are socially conservative, like you already said. The reason why they're not voting for the anti-immigration party is because they still see themselves as a part of their own nation.
It's because they don't mind that immigration is good.
Also,
they don't mind immigrants. That's not the same as they identify with immigrants.
And also, to elaborate on my point that they still ally with their old country, I'll send this to you. But every single race sees besides white people. So there was this question that was asked. Each group say they belong to. So how do I phrase this? So it says black adults are more likely than other groups to see their race or ethnicity as essential to their identity. But that's
bad. I think if we were less racist, we could integrate racially more, and then we could identify with humanity.
Let me talk. So it goes through black, Hispanic, Asian, and white people. All the minority groups, a majority of them still see themselves as their ethnicity. However, white people just see themselves as individuals. So these people still see themselves as coming from their former nation, and that's why they're voting against anti-immigration policies. And also, I would like to also point out, that's generally it. That's
what? Yeah, this is like a logical leap.
I don't want to spend like 10 minutes on each one of these. Okay, so we're moving on. All right, so from Retching Weasel, for Doomer, which is more important in your view, religion or race? Would you prefer a nation of brown Christians or a nation of white pagans?
What's so beautiful about I like this question. The question is, what makes the ethnicity and what makes the race is religion. America would not be America without Christianity, right? So ultimately, I would pick religion, but what makes culture, what makes an ethnicity is religion. Italy would not be Italy without Catholicism. Ireland would not be Ireland without Catholicism. Russia wouldn't be Russia without Orthodoxy, and America would not be America without Protestantism. So ultimately, what does affect race or ethnicity is religion. But however, I would always pick religion or God overall. But I don't. But also the catechism, because usually when people ask me this type of question, they're trying to correlate it with, you're a Christian, therefore you got to be globalist. In the catechism, it talks about how a state should view its nation as its family, and therefore naturally put its citizens over immigrants. So I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Of course you do.
Yeah. So of the millions, there's like, isn't there like, yeah, there's over 100 million non-Christians in America by now. Are they all non-American?
Wait, what'd you say?
Of the over 100 million non-Christians in America, are they all non-American?
No, I'm not going to argue who's American and who's not American, but I will say this. We know what America is and we know what America isn't. America's Christian in its character, and it's white or it's European in its character. And to get rid of these core aspects would be to get rid of America overall. I'm fine with people being, well, I'm not fine with people being atheists, but I won't deny like their freedom to do so. I want them to be connected to this Christian culture that we used to have. Like, for example, Benjamin, actually, I said there was never a president that wasn't Christian. I was wrong. Thomas Jefferson was a deist. However, he declared himself a true Christian, and that's what it is. Even if you are not religious, you should still be impacted by a religious culture, like most people, atheists from the past were when America was predominantly Christian.
Oh, so this is an argument for culture broadly then, right? I mean, I find it hard to imagine that you could be Catholic and then come into this country and then be influenced by American Protestantism and not be majorly affected and not majorly agree with policies and the broader culture of America.
That made no sense.
All right, well, we're moving on.
Wait, but you just said...
We're moving on to Nihilist. Okay, from Moff. A nihilist said that immigration will create more shitty jobs and the wages will be bigger. Why is he such a stupid, incoherent numbnut? Parroting is not that hard.
Okay, I don't know why you guys are so retarded that you can't understand this basic point. It's not how shitty the jobs it is that matters. It's the comparison between the shitty jobs that people used to work at with the shitty job they're occupying now. If the job that was created is less shitty than the jobs that were already there, then the wages will increase. If you used to be paid $10 an hour and now you get paid $10.01 an hour, you have gotten richer by 1 cent, even though both jobs are shitty. One of them is less shitty than the other. So the more jobs you create, even if they're shitty, you're still going to raise wages overall compared to what they were before. This is not hard to understand. You're just retarded.
Are you calling me retarded?
Oh, yes, you are very retarded.
You're the...
Oh, yeah, you're the retard. Okay.
All right, so from Chris, Nihilist, if Doomer is ideologically put himself a dwindling, bigoted, theocratic minority, what tactics can Doomer act upon to claim any level of success?
Dude, how's this guy going to ask a question to the Nihilist and the question be about me?
This is a very interesting question because, I mean, you talked about, like, a country being able to, like, determine its own future, but I'm pretty sure WASPs, they're like less than 50% of the American population by now, or somewhere close to it, right? So, like, even if you were to say that each nation can, like, determine for itself the border policy and its future, like, even if that was the case, it wouldn't even be possible for it to close itself and its borders.
Sure. Okay. Whatever.
So from Geely Sauce or something. Why are these fucktards lumping all immigrants into the same group?
Bro, that was my point the entire time. That was my point. I literally said that the first time this guy started saying immigrants are more entrepreneurial.
Yeah, it's true that rich immigrants.
I'm talking.
Okay.
I'm talking. Thank you. Be quiet. There's no country called immigration. There's no country called refugia. The minority of immigrants are the one that are carrying the immigrants, right? The majority that we're taking in now are just doing shitty jobs that the only reason why they're doing them is because they come from a shittier place.
Yeah, so it's true that richer immigrants and immigrants from certain countries carry more of an economic surplus than some poorer immigrants, but they're all broadly positive. So yeah, and speaking of refugia, what are you gonna do for like the millions of climate refugees that come up to the border?
They can go somewhere else.
Oh yeah, so you're just gonna let them die too? Okay.
They can just go somewhere else. I don't know. They can just go somewhere else.
Right,
yeah, so somewhere else. If they're all like you, there will be nowhere else to go to.
Oh well,
right.
I want to.
Oh my God, we gotta shut up for 2 seconds. You guys are killing me. All right, so from CCEEZ. Ask Doomer Fist if immigration isn't good, why was Gandhi so prosperous?
Gandhi was a pedophile.
Okay. All right. So from Wrenching Weasel for a nihilist, wait, did we already do this? Why does Doomernationalist preferring and wanting to protect his own people necessitate that he hates and wants other people to die? No,
good question.
Because if you discount all of the benefits that people who are immigrating to this country receive, then I have no choice but to believe that he just doesn't care about them. And if he doesn't care about them, well, I think that's pretty immoral because they're human beings.
Oh, I care.
Yeah, of course he's racist if he prioritizes certain people who he happens to identify as white over every other group of people. Yeah, that's like basically the definition of white nationalism.
You're the basic definition of retard.
All right, so this is
Thank you.
from Eric Pone. So for Doomernationalist, so what happens to minorities in your utopia?
Didn't I already answer that?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I think so.
Well,
All right.
I have an answer. Eventually,
Of course
we will all.
No one cares what you gotta say.
Eventually, we will all breed together so much that we'll just be a kaleidoscope. Like nope. I mean, in like a constant rainbow. Nobody will be able to tell what race everybody is because we're going to be all of the different shades. There's not even going to be any clear lines between us. It will be great.
That's not good.
All right. So from Marching Weasel, Annihilus, you say that slavery built America. Do you believe that work was unique? Was it of greater or lesser value than the work of the founders, pioneers who founded America?
Oh, first of all, I like how Doomernationalist said that's not good, as if he's against race mixing. But I'm not really into comparing the amount of economic or cultural contribution. I think it's all significant.
Okay. So from Lincoln, what?
To Mr. Annihilist. Why do you think diversity is good if you want everybody to look the same?
Now, I don't give a shit about diversity. It's okay.
Name's Annihilist. You don't really care about anything, do you?
I mean, I care that people have good lives. But yeah, I don't give a shit about diversity. If it just so happens that only white people immigrate here, I'm okay with that. I just want people to go wherever they want to go.
I don't, so I can go inside your house. Bet.
Okay, so from Lincoln Park, can you ask Doomer what he thinks of accelerationism, where we open borders and let the megacorps just rape shit until the average Joe says fuck it and becomes a Nazball?
That won't work. That shit's been tried. Like the Nazi Maoists tried that shit. It's the only people that promote that fucking shit are feds. That shit won't work. James Mason, the guy who like popularized like right wing accelerationism with his book Siege, was a pedophile.
All right, so we are done with the Q&A, so we can do closing statements and final thoughts. So who's the first?
I'll go first.
All right.
Yeah, closing statement. Closing statement. Shit, I didn't have anything for it. I'll still say some shit. So, yeah, closing statement. I think this debate went nowhere. Not really nowhere. I think we can determine like who was right and who was wrong. Annihilus still won't change his opinion. And I don't know. He insulted me a lot. Only time I insulted him was when I called him retarded because, I mean, I think he does have some form of autism. So that's more of a description, not prescription. And, yeah, that's my final thing.
All right, Nihilus.
All right, so it's pretty clear that Doomernationalist actually doesn't know exactly what he's talking about. He couldn't even define the difference between zero net immigration and closed borders. It's just to me that he would not actually have any coherent solutions on the impending decrease in population and the decrease in overall GDP and all the negative effects, even on wages that come with it. He just wants to spend a lot of money that we could be better spending on other things, kicking out immigrants who contribute to our economy. He's going. Wait, this is my closing statement.
Yeah, it is his closing statement.
He's going against what is basically economists' consensus when he says that immigration is not good for the country. And of course, he's also going against all the facts. He clearly didn't want to examine any of the studies that I showed him. So he's unwilling to engage with the idea that that immigration actually raises wages over time, even if it does decrease wages in a specific subset of the population in the short term. Yeah. So let's see. What else is it? I think that might be. Oh yeah, social cohesion. He didn't really provide any evidence to suggest that social cohesion would be hurt by diversity in the long term. It does seem that diversity does hurt social cohesion in the short term, but in the long term, it causes people to think more broadly in terms of humanity, which makes them more charitable overall, which might actually increase social cohesion in the long term. Although there is no consensus on that just yet.